Hey YouTube, Wes here checking in with the Vinyl Tag 2019. I know this is extremely late. I procrastinated so long on Vinyl Tag 2018 that I didn't even do it. So, Vinyl Tag 2019, you're finally getting it. Hopefully you're over your exhaustion of Vinyl Tag videos and you can just handle one more. Yeah, before I get into this video, I just wanted to do a quick explanation of the videos over the next few months on the channel here, sort of March, April, May. They're going to be pre-recorded videos while we move into the new house, clean up this house. So you're going to get new videos, at least one new video each week, but they will be pre-recorded and I'll sort of be bouncing around between houses and, as I said, setting up the new house, cleaning this house, all that kind of busy stuff. But I wanted to make sure I had videos for you, so stay tuned to the channel, stay subscribed, and check back at least once a week for new videos. So let's get into this Vinyl Tag 2019, 20 questions. Let's go ahead and get into it. First question is best find of 2018. And my best find of 2018, man, I had some really great finds in 2018, and it was really hard to narrow it down. I narrowed it down to two I actually found on the same day all the way back in January. And the one I picked was my best find was Hawkwind's Space Ritual. Definitely a very early press of this, if not a first press. Managed to find this at a second-hand Charles store for $10, which is way undervalued for this album, and it's a really nice condition, and I was just thrilled to have this. This is something I never thought I would have. I love listening to this kind of stuff, sort of spacey folk rock kind of stuff, just killer stuff, and I never thought I would own this, and to be able to own it for $10 was a no-brainer for me. So yeah, that was my best find of 2018. All right, question number 2. Shout out to some VC channels that you think deserve more subscribers. So to start out with, I'm going to suggest that when you're sitting down to watch videos, whether it be, on your phone or at your computer or whatever it is, before you go into your subscriptions and sort of start watching the people you normally watch, scroll down on the main page of YouTube to where it has this sort of recommended videos, and there'll be a section of videos there that you can look at, and those are the videos that YouTube think you might find interesting based on what you've watched in the past, what you've commented on in the past, and that's a great way to find new channels, a great way to sort of experience new channels. So I suggest going down there, clicking on one or two of those videos each time you sit down to watch YouTube videos, and click on a few people that are showing vinyl and check them out and see if you vibe with them, see if you like what they're showing, that kind of thing. That's something I always do when I sit down to watch YouTube videos. I always go down there and click on recommended videos. And these days, I'm watching so many different types of videos, it's not always vinyl videos that I'm watching from the recommended section, but I'm always finding new channels to subscribe to and new content that interests me. So yeah, make use of that recommended section. You can find some great people in there and some great channels, and that's a great way to discover new channels. But to name two specific channels that I want you to subscribe to, the first one I'm going to recommend here is a channel that's been going for a long time. They do a show every week. It's called Grown Man Record Night. I know a lot of you have heard it, and a lot of people have been sort of trying to support them, and I want to support them as well. They do an amazing job every week putting together a really fun show for you to listen to. You can watch it live streamed if you want on Friday nights, or if you want, you can also subscribe to their channel here on YouTube and watch sort of a replay of the main segments of the show. And in between the segments, if you watch the live stream, they actually play records, so you can sort of join in and listen to some music that they're playing and what they're talking about. But it's a really fun show, some really fun guys just having a good time, enjoying records, enjoying good drinks, enjoying good snacks. Just a fun show, and I urge you all to at least give them a try. Check them out. See if you vibe with what they're doing. I really love what they do, and they have under 500 subscribers now. They just did their 300th show this past week, so they've been doing this for years and years, and they really should have more subscribers. And I think more people, if more people gave them a try, they would sort of get into it and enjoy what they're doing. And so I definitely want to give them a shout out and say, yeah, definitely go check out Grown Man Record Night and just watch one of their shows, and if you like it, subscribe to them. That's all you got to do. If it's not your kind of thing, that's cool too. But give them a try. It's one of those shows where you can, if you have a way to get YouTube on your TV, sit on the couch, lay down, enjoy it, pour yourself a nice beverage, and enjoy the show. One other channel here wanted to shout out is my Florida friend here. Hopefully we're gonna meet this summer. I guarantee it. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna make it happen. That's Brad down in Orlando at H2 Vinyl. Really cool dude. Shows a lot of eclectic type music, a lot of new music, really knowledgeable, has a really great collection, really seeks out some really cool stuff to show, does a lot of needle drops. If you're into needle drops, he does those too. So that's check out Brad's channel down at H2 Vinyl. Does a really great job, and I want to definitely send people his way and get him some more subscribers. He needs more subscribers and more viewers because he's doing good stuff. So those are my suggestions for VC channels that need more viewers. Question number 3, what holes are you looking to fill in your collection? This is something that I struggled with a bit because I've never been that type of person that has sort of a grail list or a hunting list or something I keep on my phone where I've got to find these records. When I go into a record store, I look for these records. I don't do that. I sort of let the records come to me, this Hawkwind record. I knew about this Hawkwind record. I'd heard it digitally. I liked it. It wasn't on a list anywhere. I didn't think I would ever be able to own it, but it just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and for $10 now I own it. So yeah, I don't really have specific sort of things I seek out like that, but I guess the one thing I would like to collect more of and sort of fill in holes in my collection is sort of the golden era of hip-hop, 80s and 90s hip-hop, the stuff I grew up listening to. I would like to have more of that on vinyl in my collection. I have bought a lot of that in the past, and I have been able to collect a lot of that, but I'd like to, there's still ones that I just don't have that I'd like to have. So some more sort of 80s and 90s hip-hop would be what I would look to fill my collection in with. Okay, question number 4 is a cheap album that's really, really good. This one, I struggled with this question again a little bit because a lot of the albums that used to be cheap aren't cheap anymore just because of the resurgence of vinyl. Stuff that was really cheap and really plentiful when I started out are now like $10 records, which is it's kind of sad and amusing to me when I see those records for those kind of prices. But this is one you can still find in thrift stores all the time. You still find this in dollar bins all the time, and that is Jerry Rafferty's City to City. Awesome album. Well known for the song Baker Street, but the whole album through and through is great. Really good song, a really good album. Also, Right Down the Line is another song on here you'll probably most likely recognize when you hear it. But just a solid album through and through. So, and as I said, you can find this in thrift stores still. You can find it in dollar bins still. And it's a really good album to have, and it's something I recommend picking up if you can. Okay, on to question number 5, and that is a side project album, and I struggled with this one. Had to do some research. Finally landed on this one that I picked up a while back, and this is the Monsters of Folk, and it is just that sort of a modern day folk group made up of members of My Morning Jacket and Bright Eyes. So you got Jim James and M. Ward of My Morning Jacket, and Connor Oberst and Mike Mogus of Bright Eyes, and they did a really cool thing here. I love this when it came out. A friend of mine local here in town turned me on to this, and I've been digging it ever since. And it was one of the earliest sort of new pieces of vinyl I picked up when I sort of got into the vinyl community here and started buying new records again, because before then I'd just been basically a thrift store vinyl hunter, but bought this brand new sealed when it came out, and definitely a cherished record for me and one I love listening to. Okay, question number 6, a song that from an artist or band that is uncharacteristic in their catalog, and I haven't done a really good job with this one, but I came up with an answer for it anyway. And that's a song on this album by Curtis Blow called Kingdom Blow from 1986 was the year. So the first track on the album is a track called Street Rock, and it features Bob Dylan, and it's just weird hearing Bob Dylan rapping on a Curtis Blow record. So I just thought yeah, that's kind of just out of left field, I guess you could say, just kind of odd, and yeah, just sort of a fun thing. And we'll be revisiting Bob Dylan a little bit later. But yeah, Curtis Blow with the song Street Rock featuring Bob Dylan doing rap. Maybe his one and only time doing rap music. But yeah, that's a cool one. Okay, on to number 7, the last album you purchased, which this is not actually anymore the last album I purchased, but it was when I sort of went through these questions and came up with my answers. So I'm going to stick with this one because it's a cool album and it deserves to be shown. That is the new album by Boy Harsher, titled Careful, released in January of 2019, I believe, or February maybe. But yeah, very dark, synthy kind of. I don't know. It's almost like dark wave meets synth pop. But yeah, really cool stuff. Really enjoyed this. So that was the last album I purchased at the time of making this list. Boy Harsher, Careful, 2019. Okay, on to question number 8. We have a bad album, or wait, no, we have a great album with a bad cover. This is an album I was turned on by the VC here. Something, if I had just been flipping through a bin and saw it, I would go right past it because there's nothing about this cover that makes me want to buy this at all. But that is Fairport Convention's Liege and Leaf. Yeah, probably their best album, and this cover just does not do it for me at all. But an amazing album, and I'm glad that the VC turned me on to this so I could actually get a chance to keep an eye out for it and get it and hear it for myself. And it's an amazing album to listen to, but I do not dig that cover at all. And a bad album with a cool cover, and I have to admit I kind of phoned it in on this one. I just didn't come up with anything. But I came up with Herb Alpert's and Tijuana Brass, Whipped Cream and Other Delights. It's one of the coolest covers ever, just because how iconic it is and just how funny it is. The music is good. I mean, this is not a bad album. I would not call this a bad album, but it could be seen as kind of cheesy, but I enjoy it, and I actually play this from time to time. So, yeah, that's what I went with. Kind of mailed it in, but so be it. That was the best I could come up with. Okay, next up, a blues album, and I went sort of off the wall with this one a bit. Not sort of a straight-ahead blues album. I don't have a lot of blues in my collection, even though I just opened one up today for another video. But what I decided to go with was one of the earliest sort of bluesy albums I got. This came out of my grandmother's collection. This is Pete Fountain Does the Blues, or just titled The Blues, on Coral Records from 1960. If you're not familiar with Pete Fountain, he plays the clarinet, and this is my favorite album of his of all time. It is very mellow and somber clarinet playing, and it's not like a blues album like a Buddy Guy or something like that, but it's good for when you're feeling down. It's just kind of mellow and soft and soothing, and I like this album a lot. So Pete Fountain, The Blues. Okay, next up, question number 11. That is an Earworm Song, and it was kind of funny that so many people really didn't understand what an earworm is, and I thought that was something that sort of everybody knew, but it's a song that gets stuck in your head when you hear it and you can't get it out of your head, and that's an earworm. And I thought it was amusing that so many people didn't understand that. But I went with In the Mood by Robert Plant. This song has been stuck in my head for years, and it comes around just randomly from time to time, and I just start singing it. But it's a cool song, and sometimes I'll actually pull this out and play it just when it gets stuck in my head. Try to get it out of my head. But yeah, In the Mood by Robert Plant, stuck in my head as an earworm often. Okay, question number 12. A historically important artist. I wanted to spend some time on this one because this is really important to me, the sort of the history of music, the involvement of musicians in the community in general, in the world at large. And I really wanted to pick somebody who I thought really had given more than just their music to the world. And that person I chose is Harry Belafonte. And, you know, he's definitely a very talented, very well-loved musician. He has given so much to many communities, spoken for many minority peoples, you know, of course, people of color, queer people. He's done so much to help out as far as giving his voice to people who don't have a voice. You know, he was recently featured in the movie Black Klansman by Spike Lee, and I thought that was an excellent decision to include him in the movie because he really deserves to be recognized as a very historically important music artist that went well beyond his music. He's done, you know, missions to South America and helped people out there. I'm not doing this justice, but he's done so much with his work and not just musically. He's done so much to speak out in the name of injustice in the world, and a great artist. I'm actually showing this album because he's historically important as well, for featuring the first recording of Bob Dylan. So I told you we'd go back to Bob Dylan here, but this is the album that Bob Dylan first appears on before he ever had a record of his own, The Midnight Special by Harry Belafonte, an awesome album from him. And yeah, Harry Belafonte, a living legend, a great historical artist, as I said, historical in more than just music. And he's done amazing things in the music world, created some amazing albums, amazing songs, taught people some amazing stories through song, but also done so much as far as an organizer of and helping to get the word out and helping to speak for people who don't maybe not have a voice that he does have. So Harry Belafonte is my choice for historically important artist. All right, next up, an album I own because of my parents. And this is more of an artist I own, an artist I collect because of my parents. And this is mainly from my mom, and that is Gordon Lightfoot. My mom is a huge fan of Gordon Lightfoot. So yeah, thanks to my mom, I'm a Gordon Lightfoot fan myself and really enjoy his music and collect his stuff. So yeah, I own this album and many more Gordon Lightfoot albums because of my mom. Okay, next question. Question number 14 is best dollar bin find, and I took that to mean the best dollar bin find of 2018. And I have to go back with this one I raved about when I found it, when I first showed it in my monthly update, and that is Ronnie Dyson, One Man Band, killer soul album here. Love this to death, and this was one of the last dollar bin records I bought at Arrow's Aim Records because they don't have a dollar bin anymore. It's a $2 bin now. So yeah, this was a great find, and I'm glad I found it, and it was a blind buy for me, but a killer find, and I really love this. And it's not particularly valuable. That doesn't make it a great dollar bin find, but it is really great musically, so that's why I picked this as a great best dollar bin find of 2018. All right, next up, question number 15, favorite double album, and I struggled with this one again. I didn't want to pick something modern that was the double album just because it was originally recorded and made for CD. You know, those are pretty much all going to be double albums, anything modern. So I had to go back into the 60s and 70s and sort of that era. So I just had to stick with one I've talked about a lot recently, and that is Jimi Hendrix, Electric Ladyland. Definitely a favorite double album of mine, and yeah, love this album to death, and it's my pick for favorite double album. All right, next question number 16, an album you learned about from the VC last year, and I learned about this at the last day of 2018, or around the last day of 2018, and that is the debut album from the band Low Moon. Definitely cool sort of indie rock group with some electronica mixed in. Yeah, really dug this a lot. And Vinyl Collector James recommended me this. He's had it on his best of 2018 list, and I I definitely dug it. So thanks, James. Thanks for recommending this, and I'm glad to have it in my collection now. All right, getting down near the end, last few questions here. Question number 17, a 10-inch record. And rather than show a modern 10-inch record, because I don't have too many of those, I decided to show this 78 that I never actually showed when I got. Sort of a history with this. I live in the north central Florida area, and nearby we have this natural spring called Silver Springs, which is a pretty well-known place. A lot of big-time Hollywood movies have been filmed there, going back to the early days with the Tarzan movies, and then moving more into the mid 20th century with some James Bond movies, a lot of commercials. Anytime they want to do underwater filming, you know, the climate here in Florida allows for year-round underwater filming, and the spring water is 72 degrees year-round, so it never changes, and it's a really popular place for doing underwater filming and those types of things. You know, nowadays these companies have large sort of tanks and stuff that they can do underwater filming in, and it's less of a thing for them to use the springs to do filming in, but at the time it was a big deal. And so a country artist by the name of Toby Dowdy cut this song called Silver Springs, which is about Silver Springs. It was on Mercury Records, so wanted to show this 78 of Silver Springs by Toby Dowdy on Mercury Records. Even though it's a 78, it is a 10-inch record, and I do have some 10-inch vinyl records, but I just wanted to show this one. So that is a 10-inch record. And then next up, a 7-inch record. I was not sure what to show with this one either. I decided to pull out this one. It's Hanson with the song I Will Come to You from their debut album, Middle of Nowhere. That's a pretty rare one, so yeah. Decided to show that. And that was a VCLT gift to me from Jeff many years ago, so thank you, Jeff. All right, last two here. Question number 19, favorite album to fall asleep to, and like a lot of people who answered this question, I do not really fall asleep to albums anymore. It's been a long time since I've had an automatic turntable where I could let myself fall asleep and I wouldn't have to worry about it. It was, you know, when the record got to the end, the tone arm would lift up and return and everything would turn off. But now I have a fully manual turntable, so if I fall asleep, that needle's just riding in the groove for hours and hours on end and wearing itself out, and they're expensive and you got to replace them often. So I really don't do that at all. But sort of back in the 90s, I did purchase a few new albums in the 90s, and this was one of them. Tortoise, Millions Living Will Never Die. Millions Now Living Will Never Die. I'll get that right at some point. And the first side of this album is one whole track called Jed, D-J-E-D. And it's just this sort of clicky, ambient sound piece, and I used to love to fall asleep to this right on a regular basis. I'd come home, you know, want to fall asleep, put this on and let it go, and you know, I would be asleep before the end. But yeah, so Tortoise's Jed on Millions Now Living Will Never Die. Okay, and then question 20. This is going to be another sort of long one. Your favorite VC experience and or advice for people contemplating making videos. My favorite VC experiences have really been getting to meet some of the VC members in person. I haven't met a lot of people here. I've met Jim and the Misses. I've met Chris. Rob from Illinois doesn't make videos anymore. I've met Jim Driscoll, who doesn't make videos but is a regular commenter and regular participant in the online sort of vinyl community areas. And so I've really enjoyed just getting to meet people, and I'd like to meet more people. As I said, I want to definitely want to meet with Brad down in Orlando, so we're going to set that up for this summertime. Once we get settled into the new house, I'm gonna make a plan. Maybe there's a record show coming up in Orlando sometime this summer that we can meet up at or something. Whatever it is, whatever it may be, we can meet up at down at Park Ave or something, whatever it is, and hang out, maybe get some lunch and enjoy each other's company. So I definitely look forward to that. And yeah, I've enjoyed meeting people. I've enjoyed the experience of just sort of getting to know you all here on YouTube. And even if I haven't met you, just watching your videos and sharing your love with music with me and what you're experiencing with me, what you're listening to with me, it's been really good. So it's been a really good experience. There was a time right before I found people showing vinyl on YouTube that I almost sold my turntable and all my records. I was really close to just selling it and being done with it. So I'm really glad that didn't happen. I actually found a new turntable around that time, and that inspired me to sort of get back into listening to records. And I found people on YouTube showing vinyl, even though it was only a handful of people at the time. I was really excited to have this sort of interaction with people where they were, sort of show and tell, telling me about what they were collecting, what they were listening to, what they were finding, and sharing their experiences. And it's a really fun experience. So going into that, if you are someone who just watches videos and doesn't make videos, that's sort of the second part of this question. I want to urge you to make a video. Share with us your collection. Share with us what you're digging, what you're listening to. Even if you just have a small collection, you're just starting out, you have something to offer. There's somebody out there who's going to enjoy what you have to offer, what your experiences are. There may be a certain band that you really, really love and you really know a lot about. You want to share that band with us all, and set up a camera. Make sure the light's sort of facing you. Make sure there's not any sort of distracting background noise or background whatever it is, and record a video, share it with us, and post in the comments. And you say when you upload your first video, and people will watch and people will tune in, and not everybody will dig what you're doing, but some people will, and that's great. And that's how you sort of build a community and build some interaction. And that's what it's all about, is just interacting with others. So thank you for interacting with me. Thank you all for sitting through this video. Hope you enjoyed this late entry into the Vinyl Tag 2019, and hopefully Vinyl Tag 2020, if that does happen. I hope it does happen. I will be able to participate in that one as well. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, a great night, and we'll see you again real soon. Cheers.